Hello and welcome to this edition of Denthead Gaming. As always, I am your host, A Touch Retard. This is going to be a video about what to expect in the first 30 minutes of No Man's Sky. So No Man's Sky got off to kind of a rocky start. I've been playing it for quite some time. As you can see, I just had a save file on there with over 250 hours. That is a save file that I've been working on for some time, about 250 hours to be exact. That I haven't died at all. I've had many saves on here, and immediately after I die, I just delete it. I don't know why. I guess I'm a glutton for punishment. But here's what to expect in your first few minutes in this game. It's changed quite a bit since the original. They are looking to update it. Or they update it constantly now. This is actually after the brand new update that just happened. Date today, I believe, let me check real quick here. So this is Friday, August 30th of 2019 that I'm making this video. So this is right after the last update to that date. So when you first spawn in, you get a bunch of you can spawn into a bunch of different types of planets. This one just so happens to be a ragingly hot planet. The first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get, I believe, ferrite dust. Now, ferrite dust is basically metal flakes that you can get from mining rocks and things of that nature. I went ahead and sped up the footage here just because it's just mining. As soon as you have the ability, I believe it's 75 ferrite dust that you need to actually repair your scanner, go ahead and do that, because your next move, you're going to need to find sodium. Sodium is key in your I believe it's EPS, environmental protection suit or shield, whatever it may be. That is going to be what sustains you away from the elements. Now right there, if you notice, I'm actually I'm doing a melee boost right there. Did you see that? I kind of melee and then immediately hit the thrusters. That's been kind of a little trick in the game to help you move about when you first start out. You just go ahead and melee, and then immediately after meleeing, go ahead and hit the press and hold the jump button, I believe, and it'll boost you a lot quicker. So here, all I'm doing is I'm mining. See, I've got my environmental protection shielding up. My life support's up, so I'm just mining carbon like crazy right now. Basically, you want to do this every time you're at about 15% on in the top right corner there, 15% mining beam or less, if you know you're running low on fuel, because carbon is a good way to generate fuel. Right there, I'm showing you can't just walk up to it and expect it to just burn away. You have to melee. So I do a couple melees and then pop it. And that's another way you can get carbon if you're completely out. So don't think if you run out of fuel and you don't have any fuel in your inventory that you're SOL, because you're not. You can just melee carbon and get it. Right here, I'm going ahead and I'm trying to fix my analysis visor. So fixing the analysis visor is pretty important in this game because you can actually scan things and make money. It's not a whole lot of money, and there are ways, at least there used to be before the update, I don't know about now, there are ways that you can get more money per thing that you scan. I'm assuming they left that in. I thought that was actually pretty cool. Like at one point I was getting like 63,000 units just for scanning a plant. And then if I scanned like a rare species of animal, it would be, it could be, 100,000 just per animal. I think the highest I've ever gotten was 411,000, something like that, for just one animal. I believe it was a bird of some type on my other profile. But I digress. So here I'm going ahead and this right here is what's called dihydrogen. You want to get dihydrogen because that's going to be really key to generating launch fuel and other things that you're going to need to survive. So I'm making my way over to my crashed ship. I know before I even enter it that I'm going to have to do work on it. I know I'm going to need, right there, I'm going to need a metal plating. I'm going to need a dihydrogen jelly. And I'm also going to need, I believe, a hermetic seal, which I'll show you how to get. And I'm going to need pure ferrite. Pure ferrite, you're going to need oxygen, which luckily for me, it was right by my ship. Now, it has been right by my ship these past few times, and it hasn't been scannable. It's usually scannable when it's found out in the wild. I don't know if they made it to where oxygen was just by your ship every time you spawn. That seems to be the general thing that I've picked up over these past couple tries in making this video. So I went ahead and put in some fuel to burn, and I put in some ferrite dust. Now that ferrite dust that I have is not going to be enough to sustain the amount of pure ferrite I need, so I'm going to need to find more ferrite dust. So after this, I just kind of go through, I believe, and try to just find the pure ferrite that I'm going to need. I install the parts that I have on hand. Sorry, I am yawning. It is late at night, and I have class today, so I need to try to fine-tune this as soon as I can. So right now I'm just collecting up some ferrite dust so I can turn it into pure ferrite. Okay, so right there, that's actually pretty important. You need to learn how to break down geodes and crystals and things like that. All you do is you go into your inventory, hover over them, press and hold square. You can break them down. You can actually get more raw materials from that, whether it be more dihydrogen, more, I believe it's tritium, which you'll learn about here pretty soon as I get my spacecraft up and into space. Yep, right there, that's a dihydrogen crystal. You break that down, you can generate more fuel. So I've got all my pure ferrite generated now. Now I need to break down my refiner. All you do is make sure it's empty. So take anything out of the input that might be there. And then you press and hold R3 and it breaks it down for you. Now, that is actually in storage. I apologize, I just yawned again. I don't know what's wrong with me. I go ahead and jump in and out just so the game can catch up to me. Right about now, it's going to go ahead and reference me down to the communications here, and it's going to basically try to guide me to a hermetic seal. Now I go ahead and hit leave just because I know that it's going to do what it wants to do no matter what. Come over here, go ahead and activate the distress beacon. I say leave me alone just because I normally use this game just for exploration. I think exploration is a lot of fun in this game personally. And that's what I try to aim for. I don't really care about the story too much, even though it is a pretty decent story if you do decide to take that path. Okay, so I've popped the navigation data, and it's going to take me to the next hermetic seal. Now, as soon as this happens, I don't know whether it's a time thing or whether it's a how far away you get away from your spaceship thing, but what's going to happen at one of those two cues is a storm is going to happen. Storms will eat away at your environmental protection suit / shield at a rate of 3 times what it normal. So you need to either A, find some shelter, like whether it be a house or an abandoned building or a cave, or even overhanging land over another land. Or you need to find a supply of sodium. Luckily for me, I happened to look over to the right on my way and I saw a huge supply of sodium. All that yellow right there, that is all sodium flowers that I'm getting ready to pick here. And I'd like to also note that the blue flower that I picked before getting here, I believe that's called deuterium. Deuterium will basically overload your jetpack capability, so your jump function is greatly heightened. Now you can hear a shift in the music. That means that storm is coming, and storms in this game can be pretty brutal if you don't know what to expect. So all you got to do, like I said, make sure you're either by some shelter or you've got plenty of sodium, as I do. Now, I was flying along, I noticed another deuterium flower, and that's just going to help me get a lot closer to where I need to be. So I just go ahead and boost all the way there to get to my target. That way I can conserve a little bit of the sodium, then have a supply for later in case I run into trouble. Okay, so right here I log in. This isn't how these normally work. Normally you just grab whatever's in there and walk, but this is a special task because they're trying to get you into the storyline here. I went ahead and do recover supplies, otherwise you gotta find it on your own, and it's kind of annoying. So I just do recover supplies, gives me a hermetic seal. Actually, for some reason it gives me 2 hermetic seals. I don't know why I did that, but I went ahead and keep looting around to see what I can find. I find another deuterium plant, and I fly off towards my ship because I want to get there and get out of this storm. Now, my environmental suit actually starts fading here soon. So if you watch, I show a quick way to charge that up. I believe it's down on the D-pad, and then you just kind of go to recharge, and then it'll let you recharge that from there instead of actually going into your inventory, finding what you want to recharge, dragging it over to where you want to charge, and then dropping it in. You can just do a quick that way. That comes in handy if you're fighting sentinels, which we'll learn about a little bit later in the game, or if you are just in a hurry, or you just prefer to do it that way. Honestly, there is no set guideline to how you do it, just as long as you get it done. This is a survival game. You just need to get those tasks done. So now I've made it back to my ship. Now that I've made it back to my ship, I'm going to finalize my repairs. Go ahead and just install them in there. Now my ship is actually ready for flight. Here's a little trick I wanted to show you when your scanner is actually ready. You can not only scan things with it, but wait till after I jump back out here. I want to show you. You can actually push and hold square, I believe, in scanner, and it'll drop a basically a beacon, so you can find wherever you want to be again. So now I fast forwarded, I went off into space. I believe you just go out into space far enough and the storyline will kind of take over. It should be relatively soon. You're going to get in contact with an entity known as Artemis. Well, I guess I don't want to give away too much. You're going to get a hold of an entity, and yep, there it is, right there. And I normally just click through this. I hit ignore. It's going to do the same thing no matter what you choose, to be honest with you.
Data received.
Now, it is important to note that you should get as much of the story done as possible while still gaining resources. That's only going to help you. Getting the story done actually rewards you. Later on down the road, you can get multiple ships. You can get a flagship, so a freighter basically, to haul your ships. You can get bases. You can get all kinds of extra technology to help you along your way, and you can actually go through whatever path you choose. But honestly, if you follow the story, it's the fastest way to get all the cool stuff in the game. So I go ahead, I repair this unit, or actually I get the stuff from this unit, which I believe is going to be the terrain manipulator. Very important piece of equipment, and it's also going to give you a blueprint for a base computer, I believe. Yep, there's the base computer right there. This terrain manipulator actually allows you to move earth and things that are built into the earth, like copper. You need copper to make a lot of different resources in this game. So now that I've got that done, I want to go ahead and establish a base. So I find a bountiful planet and I start working to it. And I did this on purpose. I ran out of fuel on purpose. I wanted to show you that 9 times out of 10, when you run out of fuel when you're warping, it's not a big deal. Find your closest asteroid system. Use your weapons on board your starship to shoot said asteroids, and it'll give you a bunch of different supplies. It should give you silver, gold, tritium, and platinum every now and again. And every now and again, you'll get on a very rare instance, you'll actually get something that isn't normally what you would get, but you can always cash it in for something else. It's usually a monetary value that you'd actually need that for. So I went ahead and split up the footage there. Obviously, I can't fly that fast and accurately. And I noticed my launch thrusters were a little low, so I went ahead and made some launch fuel for them, because I know I'm going to be using them soon. And now I'm I'm going to be on my way to my planet that I have found that is, I believe it was a bountiful planet. You find a bountiful planet, it's going to be full of resources, it's going to be full of stuff to explore, and it's not going to have a strain on your environmental protection system. So it's a really nice way to loot up. It's a really nice break, so you can actually help restore all your resources in respect to that. So right here, I just kind of threw this in. I wanted to show you that you could actually maneuver around within the starship and actually get things done, tasks done. You can build things, you can change, convert your resources, you can do all kinds of stuff while your ship flies itself, and you don't really gotta worry. The only thing you really gotta pay attention to is make sure there's no pirates around that are actually gonna try to blow you up and loot you, because they are in this game. Right there, I went ahead and popped a scanner. I wanted to find a building. I noticed that there weren't very many buildings around. This one here just so happened to be a, I believe it's called a depository. So I wanted to make sure I cleared my inventory out for this, because depositories, once you shoot at them, which I'm doing there, and they break, they give you very valuable resources 9 times out of 10. The only thing that's wrong with this is the sentinels, which we'll learn about later on, will get really mad at you and they'll want to hunt you down. Now, after you do this, I want you to be sure you do not fly into space, especially starting out. If you fly into space starting out, they're going to send a ship after you, and you might panic if you don't have the experience. So getting into a dogfight in this game is kind of weird. And also, on a side note, you should definitely set your controls to inverted. I find that's the best way to actually become successful in dogfights. I'll also show you tricks in later videos. So here I just kind of fly, I find a bunch of sodium resources and I land next to them, and I make sure I hop out of my ship to save. If you enjoyed this content and you want more, hit that like and subscribe button, and I look forward to seeing you all out in space.